Thank you so much for donating $1,000 to the National LGBT Cancer Network. I said that if you hit $1,000, I would do a video on Flat Earth. Okay, so Flat Earth theory is intertwined with our history of science, unfortunately. Historical accounts of Flat Earth belief stretch from about the 6th century BC to the 17th century AD. And they were common all around the world, from Greece to Europe to Egypt. For the most part, Earth was represented as a flat disc-shaped thing with land surrounded by water. And that was because a lot of people didn't manage to travel overseas at the time. Basic concepts of mathematics were known, and if you walked in a straight line in any direction, eventually you would hit water. And that sure does sound like a circular plot of land and a circular disc of water. But as common as these beliefs were, historically, they were never 100% accepted as the norm. In fact, historically, most people just didn't think about what the shape of the Earth was. It just didn't matter to most people, who were probably doing backbreaking labor. As for scientists and philosophers, the idea of a spherical Earth has been around about as far as a flat Earth. Pythagoras proposed it in the 6th century BC, Aristophanes estimated its circumference around 240 BC, and Ptolemy in the 2nd century AD had basically a rudimentary map of latitude and longitude. And throughout history, we see this sort of debate between flat Earth and curved Earth. The Vedic texts describe Earth as a series of disks, while the Siddhartha astronomy texts describe it as a sphere. Now, this has led to a myth that in the past most people thought that the Earth was flat, and that is not true. In fact, flat Earth theory has always been a minority view. I'm going to butcher names here, but Al-Maradi ended up reading in the Quran that the Earth was spread out and said it couldn't be a ball. And his contemporaries, 10th century theological Muslim scholars, said, "Come on, man." Fakir al-Din al-Razi ended up saying, "Well, yeah, it spread out into a giant sphere, dude." Modern flat Earth theory largely came from the 1849 pamphlet Synthetic Astronomy. And in the face of overwhelming evidence, modern flat Earth theory usually has to fall back on conspiracy theory. Because you could just take a plane around the world and show that it's a sphere. But the question is generally, to what end? And there are basically 3 types of modern flat earthers. 1, the type of person who uses flat Earth as a kind of veil for religious zealotry. Which again is weird, because Christian theologians going all the way back to the 6th century were all about that spherical Earth. 2, it's just the veil for science denial. If they dive headfirst into science is lying to us about something this big, then they could say science is lying to us about everything. Or 3, they're part of this reductionist movement that says if they can't touch things themselves, they don't trust observations, which is an interesting psychological thing to get into, but I'll have to do that another time.